Okay, so my name's Irwin. I'm the head of technology and enhanced learning. This is Helen Parkin, who's in my team. And we're doing, not exactly doing a TeachMeet in the same way some other people have. We're kind of hoping to get a bit of information from you, actually, more than tell you lots of new stuff. You may or may not be aware, but there's a big project called the Assessment Journey Program of work that's happening at the university. Effectively, the goal of it is to move assessment processes from the very beginning of the life cycle to the end electronically, so that we are providing perhaps a more modern base. So this is an example that there's been a lot of work that's gone into it, and it's they've made kind of a university assessment life cycle with these different areas, and so looking at how we can put all the different areas from the very beginning of sort of specifying and setting curriculum level down to kind of everything in the boards, reviewing and reflecting how we can best support that with online or electronic processes. So included in there, which might be quite interesting to a lot of people, is a process of submitting work online for students, as well as students getting back their marks and feedback online. So with that in mind, there's been quite a big project which is looking at this, and we've looked at a lot of data around who's already doing online submission of work, how many people are returning feedback online, things like that. And one of the gaps that we've identified is, it's hard to tell from data, sort of marking practices, because typically marking practices are done sort of by the actual lecturer. We don't necessarily know sort of where people are marking, the tools that they're using to mark with, and thus we don't know the best ways that we can help support those things becoming more electronic or online. So to this end, we've written a survey, which Helen's, do you want to talk through the survey?
Sure. So the survey's gone live this morning, but we're not actually going to be publicising this survey until next week, given that it's Bread Week. So there's another Padlet here. If you could log in, you should all know how, thanks to Sarah earlier. We're going to actually go through some of the questions on the survey. There's a link to the survey.
Just want to zoom in on the Padlet thing or something like that. Do the browser, I think. Control and scroll.
So it's padlet.com/h_j_parking/u-marking. There is a link to the survey there, so if anyone does want to get ahead of time and complete the survey this week.
The full survey covers a bit more. We're just asking sort of 3 questions during this session, but to try to understand things where we don't really know about staff practices as well as staff preferences, because there might be practices that you are doing through particular constraints that you have now, but actually your preference would be to do something a bit differently, and if we can better understand what that is, then we might be able to better design the systems or processes to help support that.
This is following on from some research that we did last year, in that it was qualitative and we did interviews, so it's really in depth. So now we're trying to get a better idea of the practice across the university more widely. So we're looking at submission, marking, and how you feed back to students as well. The 3 questions that we'd like to ask you today are: what type of feedback do you prefer to give to students? Where do you mark and create feedback? And what would support you with marking and feedback online and electronically? So if you could go ahead and write some things on the Padlet answering Q1 with A1, then we can capture that data. Also, feel free to shout out, over to you really. So anyone got any thoughts on any of those questions?
Yeah.
I'm physiotherapy, and we do both verbal feedback in, obviously, exams. We give feedback and feedback on scripts as well, so
yeah.
verbal and written feedback for both. And just from my own personal point of view, I find it really difficult to actually give feedback in Blackboard,
Yeah.
Written feedback in Blackboard, so I always download it,
Yeah.
do the feedback on the script, and then re-upload it.
Yeah.
Just because I just find it really difficult to do that via Blackboard.
Okay. You mean using this sort of inline marking thing? Okay.
Yeah, it just doesn't
It doesn't work as easily as you hope it to. Okay.
I think easiest thing you can do is ask for IT to default that Chrome is the default browser, not Explorer, because when you're grade marking in Blackboard, it screws up and you have to switch to Chrome.
Okay.
So it's straightforward. If you get everybody's desktop defaulted to Chrome, you'll be happier.
Okay.
Sorry.
No.
It's a little thing that makes
These are the sort of things that we'll be looking for in the survey as well, because we have an opportunity here, because there is essentially some money to invest in things to improve the process. We have identified some things, like several people said, it can be quite time consuming to upload individual files to Grade Center for quite a lot of things. Could there be a better batch upload feature to that? And so that's one thing we are planning a development around as well. So. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, I've got a really big module. I've got 500 students on it. I have to carry great loads of paper marking around. It just takes ages to do feedback on it. So yes, I definitely want to move to everything being electronic, but it needs to be quick. It's just really cumbersome, all the trying to do it on Blackboard.
Yeah.
So it just really needs to be as quick and as easy as possible. It has to be quicker than handwriting.
Yeah. Okay.
Simple and easy.
Okay. 1 minute. Any more comments? Again, obviously, we definitely encourage you to put whatever on the Padlet side as well, and fill out the survey when it's sent around too. No. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And like I said, the survey should be circulated next week. So please keep an eye out. We like as many responses to that as possible, obviously, so we capture a breadth of practice and marking and feedback from across the university, which we can then inform the processes and systems that we're developing. Okay?
What's the timeline?
What's the timeline? The current kind of thinking is that sort of next academic year we would be doing working with particular departments or areas to try and test out some of the new things we're building and make sure that we're getting it smoothly, with a view that in sort of September 2016 it would probably be level 4 and level 7 would start doing it as a requirement essentially, and then the year after with everyone doing it. But that's still something that needs to go to academic board and things.
Right, thanks very much to Brian Irwin and Helen Parkin. I'm sure they'll be around today to pick up on any more questions and hear more from you. Thanks. We now